All right, hello everybody. Game Cooker US Rocks VR here. How y'all doing today? Um, just doing a quick video. I'm not really feeling that well today. Um, so I just figured I'd throw something in here online. Um, so I'm just gonna go through some things. Um, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was Starfield. You know, everybody knows that they have gotten a recent patch that added some things to the game, and there's been some fixes over the past, month or so. Um, so I'm not gonna really like go into too deep on that because you guys probably already heard it all. Um, but the main thing, the biggest news is this update introduces Nvidia DLSS support for PC players. Compatible Nvidia graphics cards can now use DLSS Super Resolution, Deep Learning Anti-Aliasing, which is DLAA, Nvidia Reflex Low Latency, and DLSS Frame Generation. So that's great, right? They added everything, so that was a smart move. Unfortunately, it only works on the Steam version, so that's just very sad for all the people who are invested in Xbox Game Pass, right? So, they kind of screwed their loyal base there of those of us who pay every month a subscription service to play games. So I think that that was like a bad call there. I'm not really sure why they did that. Maybe they wanted to avoid any other negative reviews. Who knows? Um, I mean, I can go into the reviews now. It's up to like 3.1 now on the Xbox reviews. But again, if you read very carefully, people who gave it 3 stars or above, they usually mention a lot of negative things and then give it a 3 star rating. So it's like so stupid. You know what I'm saying? Um, or maybe they just don't know what good games look like. I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm not trying to be like insulting there, but it's like Starfield is not a good game, right? Like just because you can play a game and maybe finish it doesn't make it good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not sure what they're comparing it to say that the game was good, right? So, when I think about like Half-Life, Half-Life 2, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, Morrowind, you know, the Mordor games. I had a migraine too today, so a little bit. So I took some medicine. So my brain's not working very well. So forgive me. Um, you know, Cyberpunk. I mean, they're not exactly, you know, the exact same kind of games, but still, it's like, um, there's just so many games out there that you can mention, um, that just make Starfield look like garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how I look at it, right? Like when you compare Starfield to like the dozens and dozens of other RPG like games out there, or even space exploration games, which, we don't have enough of free roaming space games. I agree. But it's at the bottom of the list, right? It's not at the top of the list. It's at the bottom. If there was like a top 500, I don't even think it would be in like the top 100. You know what I mean? At least that's my opinion, right? Like, fine, you could say, well, you can get in it and you can run around, you can shoot things, and you know, if that's all that like makes a game good for you, then good for you. That's fine. That's your choice. You know, Um, some people just favor different flavors, but I think objectively you can't say that it's a good game compared to other games. Like it's like there's so many games that are just better, right? Like and the game is still broken, right? I just went to start it up right before I did this video just to check it out real quick and it crashed. Right? Then it started up and then it was doing the shader compiling and then it crashed. Right? So I tried starting it up at least, I don't know, almost 10 times because I didn't want to waste time, right? And it crashed, right? And then, like, when I reinstalled it before, because I reinstalled it because I had mods in it before, so I wiped it out, reinstalled it, verified the files, and when it started up again, at least on Game Pass, okay, so this is Game Pass, so Steam might be different. Um, it said it was syncing data, right? And it took like, I don't know, forever. Like I literally had to walk away from my computer and do something else for a while it was doing that. And then when I started it up, it had to compile shaders for a while. You know what I mean? So it's like nothing with this game is like simple, easy, or fast, you know? Um, so I was like, okay, maybe it's my PC, maybe something screwy with it. Even though I got a 4090 and a 13700K, like it should be running every game no problem. I went on my laptop, which is a 3080 laptop, um, with um, a 10th gen 8 core processor, and I went to start it up there, and the same thing. It's just crashing, you know. It goes to start up. It says whatever it's doing, loading, and then it crashes. So on my laptop I can't play it. On my main PC I can't play it. It's still broken. You know, some people might be able to play it still. I don't know what they're using, but it's still broken. Um, but to me, no matter what you do with this game, it's not going to get better, right? Because the core game itself is not made well. Like it's not even made well to mod, right? Really? So because you still have to worry about loading screens, right? Like there's no like dungeons in place. Like Skyrim, you can you know mod it, right? Because you got a big open world, no loading screens except for the cities, but you can get a mod to to change that so that you can just walk in. But there's like dungeons everywhere, right? So it already has dungeons in the game. So all the modder has to do is either change that dungeon or add more dungeons. You see, because the foundation is there just to add dungeons because the game supports dungeons. This game, Starfield, doesn't really have any dungeons, right? Like when I first played the game, and I have it playing in the background here, as you can see. Um, you know, um, right? The game is in the background just playing. It's an old video I made. Um, Even in this game, like when I went to one of the cities, they told me to go out and look for some artifact, not the main artifact, but some relic or something. Um, I forget what it was called now. And I said this in another video. I was so excited to go look for this thing, right? Because up to this point, I got to the cyberpunk city and on this other planet, and the cyberpunk city was cool. Like I was like, oh, okay, maybe things are changing. Because up to that point, the game was kind of boring. Okay, right? Going through all the preliminary crap in the beginning, and then whatever, going to New Atlantis or whatever it's called. And I don't even remember the game really, because it just didn't leave an impact on me that much, you know. So um, I was at the cyberpunk city. or whatever. It looked like a cyberpunk city, and they told me to go out and look for something. I had to go to this cave, right? Um, so yeah. So I was so excited to go to that cave because I'm going, okay, this must be the dungeons. They're sending me to this cave, and I'm gonna have to like, kind of traverse this cave. I'm gonna go have to go deep inside, and I'm wondering what creatures I'm gonna encounter, or what people I'm gonna encounter, or what beings I'm going to encounter. You know, I was just so excited, right? Now, again, you could say, why'd you get hyped up for something you know nothing about yet? Well, that you could argue that, but I mean, isn't that what gaming is all about, though? Right? The anticipation of what you're going to experience, right? And the way that they hyped up this game, that it was like revolutionary, and you're gonna have to upgrade your PC to play it, and all this other stuff they were talking about. You're thinking, wow, this thing is gonna be Elder Scrolls in space. You know what I mean? So I go to the cave, and to make a long story short, there was nothing. I just went in there, got the thing that I had to get, and then left. There was nothing in there. It's like nothing, right? There was nothing, no challenge, no excitement, no nothing. So you got the thing, and then you took it back to that city and handed it in, and that was it. There was really nothing, anything else that was worth talking about. So and that's the game. Like there's nothing exciting. Like I don't know why people are like so excited about like these quest chains. Like, okay, whatever. There's a couple quest chains you can do, but exploration is boring, and that's really the whole point of. That's why I wanted the game. I wanted the game for exploring. I wanted the game for traveling through space. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's fine that they have a couple quest chains. That's cool, but that does not um, outweigh what the game is lacking, right? Because those quest chains, at least for me, are only like 25% of interest. You know what I'm saying? Like even I don't even mind doing like a million side quests, but the side quests were boring, right? Like I don't I wasn't I'm an easy person to really please when it comes to these exploration games. Cuz I go and wow, I don't care about end game. I only care about the quest and exploration and the dungeons. Like that's all I care about, you know? I could care less about the end game stuff, PvP, all that crap. 40-man raids, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to have the best gear and be the best person and be number 1 on the server or whatever the case is, right? Same like with Skyrim. I just got in that game for the first time just a couple years ago, believe it or not. And I was just blown away, even with the crappy graphics. I was like, "Oh man, this is cool, man. Why did I not play this game before?" Why was I so prejudiced against it? Because for some reason I was. I just didn't want to play it, you know, because I didn't realize what kind of a game it was. So, you went exploring, you got your followers, you had your abilities, you had your skills, you went in there was plenty of dungeons to go in. It was fun to upgrade. It was like there was just a lot of interesting things to do in Skyrim, you know. And I haven't even played Fallout 4 yet. I only started the beginning. I'm starting that for the first time, you know. So Starfield is nothing special. It's not a good game. Like it's not, right? There's just so much missing from it. There's so much that they could have done that they didn't. Loading screens. Why? Why? You know, loading screens. That was just uh, should not even be there. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it doesn't really matter what they do to this game, it's not going to get better. You know what I mean? I know people will say, yes, it will. Yes, it will. It's already better. Blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever, man. Love it if you want. And that's why these game companies are going to keep making subpar products because people go out there and buy it because of the FOMO, right? And when they spend 70 bucks and they dump 50, 60 hours into a game that they were like in their minds, they're saying, well, this could have been better. They have to justify paying $70 or $80 or whatever you pay for the game, and they can't say that it sucks, right? Because they they can't stand the guilt, you know. It's what you know. It's fine that you want to say, well, I like this about the game, right? You can say that you like certain things about the game, right? And you can say that you like negative things about the game. But if the negative things outweigh the positive things, or if there's more negatives than positives, then the game's not good, even to you. Even if you enjoyed it, you can't argue the game was good. Yes, it was entertaining for a while. It filled your time for a while. You know what I'm saying? But is it really a game that you're just going to go back to over and over and over again, like Skyrim or Fallout 4 or Shadows of Mordor or whatever? You know, Shadows of Mordor I really didn't play much, you know, but I'm just saying Half-Life, Half-Life 2, you know, like these are all games that, you know, were memorable, you know? Anyway, that's all I got to say about Starfield. You can look at the patch notes um, on the Starfield Bethesda.net. But they still didn't fix the stability, right? It says address the number of memory related issues leaks, add some GPU performance optimizations, improve render threading model, improve CPU usage, mostly on higher end systems, various stability and performance improvements. So I'm wondering if this was only this patch, the whole thing only applies to the Steam game because my game is not starting up at all. So I would on two systems, right? So it's not an E-core P-core thing because my laptop doesn't have E-cores and P-cores, you know. And it's not the GPU issue unless it doesn't still like Nvidia for some reason, like it was before, you know. I would like to talk more about Starfield because there's just so many things that people are still ignoring about it. They keep saying like some people are coming out and saying it really was disappointment, and that's true. It is a disappointment. So let's get on to Nvidia now. I want to talk about Nvidia. So everybody still hating on Nvidia. Not everybody, but the marketing mob, the AMD marketing mob, right? Um, so I just saw this. This is from November 20th from Business Insider or Business Insider, Markets Insider page. Um, it says Nvidia will report Q3 earnings on November 21st, which is tomorrow. Wall Street analysts expect Nvidia will release earnings per share of $3.37, right? On November 21st, Nvidia will be reporting latest earnings. The terms of EPS, 38 analysts are predicting earnings of $3.37 per share compared to earnings of 0.58 per share in the same quarter of the previous year. So that is like an enormous jump, going from 58 cents to $3.30 earnings. So Wall Street is expecting sales of 16.19 billion, an increase of 172.99% over the prior year quarter. That is just like mind blowing. Overall, analysts expect an average profit of $10 per share for the current fiscal year, compared to $3.34 per share in the previous year. On average, analysts predict that the company will report annual sales of $55 billion. I mean, that is just extraordinary, right? But yet, everybody is still crapping all over Nvidia for being a raving success. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, whatever. You can have your opinions. I don't care about what you think, right? I'm buying Nvidia cards because I like them. That's just bottom line. I buy a car because I like that car. I buy a certain TV because I like that TV. You know, to each his own. But you cannot, it's undeniable that Nvidia is a super success story, right? They're only getting better and better each year. And the reason why is because of technology, right? You guys all know the RTX features. I just talked about them in Starfield, right? Here's Starfield again. Starfield added DLSS support. So you have super resolution, DLAA, reflex, frame generation, shadow play. You have broadcast, which is you can get, um, you know, there's a lot of free software that you can get from Nvidia to do AI stuff. Here's a super NIC that they made. You know what I mean? So this is just one example of them innovating, right? What is a super NIC? A super NIC is a new class of network accelerators designed to supercharge hyperscale AI workloads in Ethernet-based clouds. It provides lightning-fast network connectivity for GPU to GPU communication, achieving speeds reaching 400 gigabytes per second using remote direct memory access. Right? Now, this is obviously commercial, but still, whatever, you know? So, why is this important? SuperNIC advantages, or DPUs, deliver a wealth of advanced features offering high throughput, low latency network connectivity and more. Since their introduction in 2020, DPUs have gained popularity in the realm of cloud computing, primarily due to their capacity to offload, accelerate, and isolate data center infrastructure processing. Although DPUs and SuperNICs share a range of features and capabilities, SuperNICs are uniquely optimized for accelerating networks for AI. You see? So you can go to and you guys can go to the Nvidia blog page, right? Which is up here, right? And read about all the technology that they're working on, right? It's all there. So people complain about Nvidia out of ignorance, because they don't want to look at what they're doing technologically, right? So you still have a lot of YouTubers and stuff, talking smack about Nvidia, right? You can go through all the videos, right? It's ridiculous. And every time, well, I'll get into that next. Before you buy any 40 series GPU, you know, what else is there? Um, I'm actually getting mad now because of the 4060. Um, Nvidia's lying to you. This is and there some of these are old, I know, but it's still Nvidia CEO explains why RTX 4060 Ti sucks. You know, so it's like, you know, I'm not going to go through all the pages, but there's a lot of negative videos about Nvidia, right? Um, and then every time Nvidia wants to bring out new GPUs like a super refresh, hey, what's up, F Blast? I'm just talking about everything. I was just talking about Starfield. I'm talking about Nvidia now, the hate that people give Nvidia. Um, about always talking about how they're too expensive, but they don't understand that people buy RTX cards not simply for rasterization, right? Like everybody can say, well, the AMD cards, they do really well in rasterization, right? They do really well in gaming, you know? And fine, that's a good argument. But the problem is they lack the features that people want. RTX has features that people want, right? Nvidia has software that people want, you know. Again, you could say, well, I don't care about it. Fine, don't care about it, but I do, you know. So that's why I will always choose an Nvidia card over a Radeon card. Like it doesn't matter. I don't care how good Radeon cards do at gaming, right? So let's say the Radeon 7900 XT performs, I don't know, let's just say for argument's sake, I don't know if it does or not, performs 10% faster than a 4070 Ti, right? So somebody will say, you should buy the Radeon card because it's faster in gaming. Well, that is an argument, but what if I want the features that Nvidia has? Then what? You see? So it's like if Nvidia has one feature that I want, just one, that Radeon doesn't have, then the Radeon's no good to me. You see what I'm saying? So it's like Nvidia has many features that people can use. Maybe they don't use them. Maybe they don't know about them. Maybe they're ignorant, or maybe they're too busy hating on Nvidia that they don't care to try them. You see? They just want to listen to the negative YouTube. You see, so this is the problem with AMD. AMD has to do one of two things. They either have to add a lot more features, they really need to like get their ray tracing and FSR like up to par with Nvidia, which they're not even close, or they have to beat Nvidia in rasterization by more than 5 or 10%, right? They have to do that, right? And I said in the past that if AMD can destroy Nvidia at any tier level, then I would consider buying a Radeon card at that tier level if I need one at that tier level, right? So the 79XTX doesn't really destroy the 4080, right? It doesn't matter whether the 4080 is $100 or $200 more. It doesn't matter to me, right? Because again, if the 4080 has the rasterization and the features, that's what I'm going to look at. I'm not going to look at the XTX. I don't care how good the XTX is, the 7900 XTX. If what I need is a feature or features in the RTX card, then I'm going to go with the 4080, right? So that's the conundrum that people don't talk about. You know, they want to keep dismissing Nvidia as crappy or too expensive, but they're the the features sell themselves, right, to people who want them and need them. So that's just a fact, right? So already though, now that the RTX Supers are being announced, right? Um, which you guys probably heard about. I think I closed the window by accident. Sorry. Um, anyway, the RTX Super Series cards are going to be coming out sometime early next year, right? So the 4070 Super, 4070 Ti Super, if they're going to have that, 4080 Super. They, I don't know if they're going to bring out like a 4050 Super or 4060 Super. You know, they could, although that's not really talked about now. Um, so as soon as they started talking about the 40 Supers, all of a sudden everybody's talking about RDNA 4 again. Oh, how good RDNA 4 is going to be, right? So you can already see the tech news doing it. And this is what the marketing mob does. And I'm not saying overclocking.com is this. They're just getting information from other people. So I'm not saying they're one of the ones who are doing this. But there's a lot of the tech sites and the YouTubers out there. Every time Nvidia is going to bring something out, they're always talking about, oh, Nvidia's coming out with this. And it looks like it's going to perform like that, you know? And it's like, usually when they say something like that, AMD is not going to bring this thing out for like another year. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be like way beyond, you know, the time frame that Nvidia is going to bring out their stuff. So they're always trying to undermine everything Nvidia is doing. And again, this isn't about loving or hating Nvidia. This is just fact, right? You can love Radeon. Go ahead, do it. I don't care. You see, you know what I mean? You have a right to buy what you want. But this is what always happens. So now they're talking about RDNA 4. Oh, the RX 8800, the RX 8900 XT, and overclocking.com is getting it from Moore's Law is Dead. So you can go to Moore's Law is Dead on their video channel and listen to him. You know, but it's always the same thing. Nvidia's too expensive. Oh, AMD's bringing out RDM DNA 4. It's going to be a game changer and all this other stuff. And then when they bring it out, Nvidia brings out the hammer every single time, right? So the 980 Ti was the fastest card on the planet. The 1080 Ti and the Titan was the fastest card on the planet. The 2080 Ti and the RTX Titan were the fastest GPUs on the planet. The 3090 for a time was the fastest on the planet, but then they brought out the 3090 Ti, which was the fastest on the planet. And then the 4000 series, Nvidia brings out the 4090, the fastest GPU on the planet. And that's not even the full die. You see, so it doesn't matter like how much the AMD marketing mob wants to try to undermine Nvidia. Historically, they've always been proven wrong. Right? You can argue like whatever, mid-range, low range. I mean, you can argue price points, right? But when it's all said and done, Nvidia is still at the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And just as a bit of news about the Super Series coming up, it's been said in the tech news that the RTX Super won't be in laptops, at least initially. Okay? So I just randomly picked out a site here because I've seen a bunch of them. So this is poked.net, POKDE.net. And I won't be posting any links down because not for a while, because YouTube really got on my case about putting links in my description. I'm not sure why, but they did. So I'm just going to give that a rest for a little bit. But anyway, you can see it here, poked.net. So they're just basically saying they're not going to appear in the laptop. So if you were hoping to buy a laptop next year or early next year with a Super Series card in it, you probably won't get one in the beginning. Like it's only going to be desktop. So, and I don't really see why they're going to put a Super in um, a laptop. They could just use the regular ones to put in the laptops. They don't really need anything much stronger, right? Because AMD doesn't really have anything that's really that's really fighting them. You know what I mean? If anything, AMD is going to have stuff that's on par with whatever Nvidia has on the laptop. But they probably still won't beat the 4090 laptop. So, you know, there's that. You know what I'm saying? Um, okay, so now getting on to the next generation, RTX 5000 series cards have been talked about again. So TechSpot here, so go to techspot.com, right? Check out their articles. They're saying that NVIDIA RTX 5000 graphics cards are going to have DisplayPort 2.1, PCI Express 5 support, and 3 nanometer node. So they should be fast, efficient, power savers. Um, but there was also talk about it being much stronger than people anticipated. Okay, so TechSpot's saying here you should be 30% more efficient with the 3 nanometer. Should be at least 15% performance boost just going to that 3 nanometer, and the die size should shrink about 42% on the 3 nanometer. Of course, it's also mentioned that say the 5090 is going to be a huge die still, even though it's on 3 nanometer. Um, so yeah, so DisplayPort 2.1, you're going to be able to run 8K at 165 hertz, 4K at 480 hertz. Um, so that's awesome. It's going to be using GDDR7 most likely, which is a much faster um, VRAM. It's going to have 96 megabytes of cache, some people were saying. Um, yeah, so it's going to be a beast, okay, of a card. So, um, yeah, just know that the 5090 is going to be a monster, but it's also going to be very fast. So that now, because we talked about the 5000 series, yeah, like I said, people are talking about the 8000, RX 8000 coming up. They're saying that Moore's Law is dead said that he thinks the RX 8800 XT, and again, go to Moore's Law is Dead YouTube if you want to check out those videos. He's saying that he's thinking the 8800 XT is going to be on par with like a 3070, 3080 at about 500 bucks. So it doesn't really seem like, or about 400 to 500 bucks. So it may be cheaper than the 7800 XT, you know, um, at the same performance or a little bit more. Because the way he was talking was kind of confusing me because the 7800 XT is $500. So that already performs like a 3080. So when he was saying the 8800 XT or whatever it's going to be called is going to be $500 and perform like a 3080, or maybe he was saying it was going to perform like a 4080, but that seems kind of like, I don't know, that seems like quite a boost. I don't know if AMD would sell a card for $500 for $400 to $500. Tell me what you guys whoa, tell me what you guys think. Give me a second. I got a phone call. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Dave Santoro. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm on my way to you now. I'm trying to remember. I remember doing your job, but where on Route 50 are you?
Right on the highway, like right up, like not far from the bar.
Not far from the bar, so like between Route 30 and the overpass on Route 322.
Well, we're on 50. Like if you went from 322 to go to Egg Harbor City, we're on the right hand side
Yeah.
before you get to the
Okay.
bar.
Okay. What's the next cross street? Like Oak or something?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't even
No.
know the street names. But yeah, I'm not sure of the street names. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I remember the way they run. There's Orange, Peach, Oak, and so forth. And I think Oak is out near you someplace. But you're on the right hand side before the bar. That
heading
tells me I'll probably remember it then.
heading towards Egg Harbor City. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be before the bar.
What's a good landmark for your property?
That's a good question. Um,
Is there a mailbox or something there? Or?
yeah, there's three mailboxes right next to each other. Um, I mean, are you coming now?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, how long will it take you to get here?
10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes.
Okay, I can wait outside for you. I'll be in a red hoodie.
Okay.
All right? Okay,
All right.
thanks. Take it easy.
Thank you.
All right, I'm sorry, guys. All right, sorry for making you wait. Let me just wrap this up then. I wanted to get to the PC parts. But anyway, just to end off here, um, yeah, I just have a hard time believing that AMD is going to sell a card for $400 to $500 that performs like a 4080. But you guys tell me what you think, about that. You know, what do you think about RDNA 4? Do you think it'll be competitive with the 5000 series? I personally don't think it will be, but AMD might have a surprise up their sleeve, maybe. But I mean, the 4070 is like so far ahead of the 7900 XTX that if a 5090 is, say, I don't know, almost double the performance of a 4090, how the heck are they supposed to like go from a 7900 XTX performance to 5090 performance? I mean, you're talking about jumping like two generations of performance, right? At least with the 6000 series, they were able to match the 3090, right? And I think with the 6950 XT, I think they were able to beat the 3090, but they weren't able to catch up to the 3090 Ti, I don't believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think the 3090 Ti still was, you know, edging out the win. So you're talking about going from like, say, I don't know, they didn't even have a contender in the 5000 series really, but you're talking about going from like a 5700 XT, right, which I think was their top 5000 card, to a 7900 XT. Like that would be them skipping over the 6000 series. You know what I'm saying? If they were able to go from a 7900 XTX to the performance of a 5090, I mean that is a really big jump. I mean, you're talking about like three or four times the performance. So I don't know. You let me know what you think. But I gotta go because the plumber's coming. We have a water leak. So sorry for cutting it off. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. Like, sub, share. Let me know your thoughts about everything I said in the comments. I always read my comments if I can. If get the notifications. So love y'all. Take care. Bye.